and welcome to another edition of Water Wellness and the importance that water has on our lives. Today, Andy Lazur is going to talk about common smells and stains of our drinking water. Let's get right into it. Andy, when we think about our drinking water quality, are there ways to know if there are contaminants in it?
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth, and hello, everybody. Yeah, that's a really important question. The most important thing to do and understand is that most contaminants you cannot tell by your senses, either taste, sight, or smell. You have to have it done by a certified private lab and get that numbers, get that specific quantification of those different contaminants. That said, there are a few things that we can notice or observe about our drinking water, and that's a few stains and odors.
What are typical water stains? Like, what causes them? Are they harmful?
Yeah, so the most common ones we see are brown, black stains, greenish blue, and also kind of a film, kind of a scale or whitish film. So the brown stain is fairly common. That's due to iron. And iron is pretty much within all soils and in contact with groundwater. It's just when it gets at certain concentrations, or if you have something called iron bacteria, that you're going to get that brownish color. And that particular color, again, is iron. It's not necessarily harmful to your health, although it may give you a little bit of a metallic taste, which is unpleasant. So again, it's not harmful, and there's filters for that. But another stain that we see associated with the brown is black stains. Now that's a little bit different story. That's because of manganese. And manganese over the years, particularly recent years, they've identified manganese as a potential neurotoxin affecting children. And so that's important. And so you want to follow up. If you see black stains, you want to follow up and get your water tested to be sure that that level of manganese is below the EPA MCL, maximum contaminant level. Another common stain that we see is this greenish blue, and that's from copper. And that's typically coming from the plumbing, whether it's copper pipe or in some cases the actual fixture itself, like the faucet has some copper in it. And if your water is corrosive in nature, then that copper leaches out and creates that stain. So you would definitely want to follow up with a water test, testing the copper level, making sure that it's below that EPA level, and then also test for corrosive water. Because if you have corrosive water, not only can copper leach out, but lead can leach out from the plumbing. So it's always good to follow up when you see any of these stains, to follow up with a well water test. And the other one I mentioned is the whitish film or scale, and that's because of calcium and magnesium or water hardness. And so what happens is that the calcium can build up a film. You might see it in your dishes. You can take it out of the dishwasher, or you may even see it in your water heater where the heating elements scale up over time. Yeah, and again, water scale can be easily addressed by use of a water softener. And a water softener will also address the iron as well.
Are there odors that can happen with drinking water?
Yeah, believe it or not, there are. And the two most common ones, probably the rotten egg. And if you have any issues with that, you'll know it because it's caused by hydrogen sulfide or even sulfur bacteria in the well. And like I say, it's offensive. You can taste it and you can smell it. And another one that's not so common is you might get kind of a chemical or petroleum smell. And that can be caused by, say, some sort of connection to a leaking fuel tank or whatever the case may be. But again, you can have these tested by a lab to determine the concentration. And again, the rotten egg smell is not necessarily harmful. It's just more offensive. Now, a chemical smell could be harmful, and you'd want to have that, tested by a lab.
So what can be done about these problems?
Well, again, as I mentioned earlier, if you notice any of these stains or odors, have your water tested and get that information. You want the quantity of the contaminant to determine if it's a problem. And then if it is at a level that exceeds the EPA contaminant level, then the good news here is that there are filters. There's a lot of different types of filters that can handle all of these contaminants. So again, test first, and then go from there, and then determine if you need a water filter.
Lots of great information, Andy. This was really good. Thank you. If you'd like more information on water quality, septics, wells, groundwater, ponds, please check out our state water quality specialist, Andrew Lazur's YouTube channel for videos and podcasts under Water Quality University of Maryland Extension. For his website, Google UME Wells and Septics, and for his Facebook page, it can be found at University of Maryland Water Quality. And please register for our next Wednesday water webinar on June 19th, Stains and Stinks of Drinking Water. Thank you all for tuning in.